Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Moshe Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Moshe Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout-out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Moshe Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Moshe Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. we're here with a wonderful author who's living in Clarksboro, New Jersey, around the South Jersey area. He's got a book called The Deacon An Unexpected Life, and he has just had an amazing background. And he's a retired systems engineer, magician, teacher, and an ex-deacon in the Catholic Church. And he just has the gift in making the complex less complex. The ability to simplify things that led him to teaching visually modeling techniques and across the country, and just about everything he does takes what's difficult and makes it very easy to understand. And he's also got a book out. We'll talk about that. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, the very talented author of The Deacon An Unexpected Life, Thomas Fargnoli. Thomas, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good evening. Thanks a lot for having me on, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you have a book called The Deacon An Unexpected Life, and you just have an amazing story as well, too, that you basically have been a retired systems engineer, a magician, teacher, and ex-deacon in the Catholic Church. And of course, you've been doing magic for about 7 years, and you also had the ability to simplify things that led to a lot of things and making the complex less complex. And, of course, you also got the book about having an unexpected life, where it goes from having it all to having it none, and just having it back as well, too, and a lot of decisions. I mean, it's just an amazing book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life. And before we get into all that, tell us how I first got started, Thomas.
I'm sorry. Well, basically, how I got started, as far as writing goes, or overall.
Well, let's start off with the overall, then we'll get into writing. So overall, how you got started.
Yeah, I mean, I had the perfect life going, really. I was a lead software engineer, and then I moved into systems engineering for 40 years. I was happily married for 40 years. I studied to become a deacon for 5 years, and was a deacon for 5 years. It was my dream to be a deacon in my retirement. I mean, life was good. Wife, home, children, grandchildren, health, retirement, and amazing ministry. But then unimaginable tragedy and horror came to my family, and that's really what started me down this road of being a writer. My wife suddenly, tragically, took her own life.
Oh, my.
Grieving the loss of a spouse, or any loved one, really, is devastating. But as I quickly learned, grieving is so much more complex when it involves the loss of someone to suicide. Hate to even say the S word. One thing I've learned is when you say that word, when you say the S word, people kind of shut down. I mean, not intentionally, but they just kind of avoid you. And if someone asks me, how my wife died, it's very difficult. Once you mention that S word, the conversation is over. So I learned a lot about suicide and being a suicide survivor. Not so, when you say suicide survivor, a lot of people think, oh, you survived suicide. No, the suicide survivors are the ones left behind. And so that's pretty much how my whole life kind of changed with respect to that event.
And I was just, thinking about the whole thing with suicide as well, too. It's a very difficult subject, especially during these times. And with you being a deacon for serving quite some time, especially over the last 5 years, what inspired you to become a deacon?
Well, I've always felt kind of called. And I go through a chapter in my book about, what is it to be called? We're all called in various ways. We always hear that expression. You were meant to be a teacher. You were meant to do this. You were meant to be a good host on a radio show. But as far as the deacon goes, I always wanted to do more in the church. I always felt like I would be at church and just felt like I wanted to do more. Most people look at a deacon and they don't see much other than that they assist a priest or that they have some ministries. With me, when I became a deacon, I got into the hospital ministry. So it was visiting patients. And of course, I used my magic with that too. When appropriate, I would do some magic for some people who were in the hospital and cheer them up a little bit. Most people I found in the hospital, had a lot more problems than the the problem that brought them into the hospital. You know what I mean? Once you start talking to people, you realize, they have a lot going on in life. And doing the magic kind of lightened that up a little bit. So I was always called in that sense to do more from a serving point of view. And the deacon seemed to answer that call for me.
Mm-hmm. And of course, aside from being a deacon, you also been a magician for several years. So how'd you first get started as a magician? This sounds really interesting.
Yeah, well, actually, I was just getting started in my job in an engineering role, and there was I was probably 25 years old, and there was an administrator who showed me back in those days you can have cigarettes everywhere. There was ashtrays in the cubes.
I remember that.
So he showed me a trick with short sleeves. He took a cigarette and made it disappear right in front of my eyes, and I says, "How in the heck did you do that?" And he wouldn't tell me. So I went out and I bought a few magic books. I started reading, and I couldn't figure out a lot of the things that I read. He wasn't doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
This cigarette actually disappeared. So in reading the books, I finally figured out how he did it, and then I started doing it. And I'll tell you what, it became addictive. You walk up to someone smoking and say, smoking's bad for you. Can I pour that cigarette? And you just, boom. That quick, you vanish in front of their eyes with short sleeves, and they're like, "Where did it go? Can you bring it back?" No, I can't bring it back. I didn't learn that part yet. So that really addicted me. The next thing you know, years go by, I'm buying doves, and doing magic shows. My daughter, when she was 3 years old, I started. I taught her Houdini's escape trick out of a mail bag. So she would get in this mail bag with handcuffs, tie the bag, and she would escape. Took her a while at first, but after a while, she got so good at it, she escaped from that bag in 3 seconds. And when she was 9, she won a trip to Las Vegas to do that escape for Lance Burton.
Wow!
In the Monte Carlo Casino. So magic's been really good to me. I've used it, as I mentioned, in ministry. I've done shows, both adults and children's shows. I also do it when I used to teach. When I used to teach in engineering, I'll tell you, you have a group of engineers, and you do magic for them. It drives them nuts because they got to figure out everything. And so I was doing things they just couldn't figure it out. So it enhanced the material that I taught. It's one thing to teach certain engineering concepts, but when you combine it with, some relative display of magic, it drives a kind of an emotional content to it, and they retain the information a lot better.
I thought they'd be doing it by a flow chart. I can imagine these guys like, how do we put that in a flow chart?
Exactly. Believe me, I many times see people write a flow chart and give it to me and say, "I think this is how you did that trick with the cards." And sure enough, one of the things I taught was how to flow chart. So it was appropriate for them to use that as a vehicle to try to understand my magic. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work.
I remember studying computer engineering a while back. We had to do flow charts. If A doesn't work, then B, C, and everything. And I thought about that. It's like, can you imagine trying to do a magic trick on a flow chart? Wouldn't that be something? So,
yeah, that's a little different.
Right. And could you imagine trying to do it with a burning cigarette? Have you tried that one? Make it disappear? Yeah, a burning cigarette. Yeah.
Yeah. That I do all the time. Now it's the problem with that is, no one smokes anymore. And if they do smoke, you can't do the cigarette. I do a lot of fire tricks that are difficult these days because, I usually make I borrow a handkerchief and burn a hole in it and then repair it. But, you have to be careful because if you light the handkerchief these days, there's smoke detectors everywhere. And the next thing you know, smoke detectors are going off.
Mm-hmm. And you probably get in trouble as well, too. And what's your favorite magic trick you like to perform, and what was the most challenging you've ever done?
Challenging?
Yeah.
I actually did Beanie's Metamorphosis. It was his name of it, but it was a box where you get the assistant, and my son and I did this at a party. We trained all summer for it. Basically, you put him in a bag, put him in the box. First, you have someone come up, examine the box, examine the bag. You put handcuffs on them. He gets in the box, and you loop it around the chains, and the next thing you know, you're standing on a box, and you lift the curtain up, and you say 1, 2, 3. On 3, you drop the curtain, and here it's my son standing there, and then he opens it up, and I'm in the bag. And, so that was the most challenging. We practiced it all summer. We did it for a Halloween party, and it was great. I really enjoyed that.
You know something? Next time when we have you on, we like to do it on Zoom as well, too. You can perform magic tricks for us. And I'm thinking about it. Maybe we should have done this on Zoom or video. It's like, I just love to see what you do.
Yeah, well, the Zoom would be great. I do. In fact, I am putting together a couple magic tricks only because it's been a while since I did them. And I'm going through my box of magic, and I'm coming across some things like, oh, I remember how I used to do this at one time, but I forget how to do it. Uh-huh. So in order to motivate myself, I'm actually, having my wife film me doing a few different magic tricks. So maybe I'll put a collection together. I don't know. But I like the close-up magic more so than the illusions that I just went through. But when you do something close in front of someone's eyes, making a coin disappear or turn into a sponge bowl, that to me is more exciting.
And it sounds very exciting, too. Who are some of your favorite magicians growing up?
Well, growing up, one who surprised me the most was Doug Henny. Doug Henny was the first one to get away from the traditional, tuxedo magic and do things in short sleeve. Kind of like he was known as like a hippie type of magician. Mm-hmm. And he did a show in New York, which I went to see. And so I really liked Doug Henny. I kind of followed him. And if I couldn't do it with short sleeves, I decided, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have things going up my jacket or vest and all of that. So a lot of times when I showed up at a magic show, I would wear a short sleeve. And you're like, oh, you didn't dress up as a magician. I said, well, no, I didn't dress up as your magician, maybe.
Well, one more time, we're going to make it disappear.
One of the funniest stories was I did this one show. I did it yearly. It was a doctor, and he always had me over for doing a show around Christmas time. And his one son he was obnoxious, and he would always yell no matter what. I know how you did this. I can do that. Even before I even did anything. Mm-hmm. So I started to tie Janine into the bag. He said, "Oh, I can get out of that bag." So I said, "Janine, wait a second." And we got the son of the doctor, and we put him in the bag, and we tied it. And I said, "Okay, knock yourself out." He couldn't get out, and that was the last time I did that show for that doctor.
I can imagine. Abracadabra, shut up.
but it was well worth it.
Oh, my gosh, that is so worth it. I'd love to have you back on as well, too, and perform some magic tricks. This is great. And we'll get to your book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life, in just 1 minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout-out to our official international award-winning sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, Me and Mo Shinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Me and Mo Shinzia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Me and Mo Shinzia has garnered great reviews and even loved by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing. Missing by Me and Mo Shinzia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And also check out the merchandise of The Mike Wagner Show. Just go to Amazon.com/The Mike Wagner Show and check out Me Emotions, Zia's terrific a line of merchandise. Just go to Amazon.com/Me Emotions. Zia, do it today. We're here with author and former computer engineer, also worked as a magician and served as a deacon of the Catholic Church, Thomas Fargnoli, here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about the book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life. And, I had a great time talking about magic and talking about his and network systems engineers, computers, and everything. And then going from magician and talking about the book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life. Tell us more about the book, and also a few episodes where some magic was involved and about teaching some things involving Jesus.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, being a deacon was one of the things I really wanted to do. And I used magic. Yeah, I used magic in the hospital. I also used it for sermons. I mean, obviously, it has to be appropriate. But when you talk about, various scriptures, and just like in system engineering, I always had this drive to make things simple. And so, likewise, with scripture, I would try to make it much more understandable. And, I would take two balls, for example, two red balls, and explain, Jesus has a love for us. And one of the balls could be him, and one of the balls could be you, whoever I'm doing this explanation to. And I'll take one, and I'll put it in my hand, and I'll take the other and put it in their hand. And then I'll tell a little story, maybe a little scripture, about love and a relationship with God, and then tell how, even when you feel alone, and I open my hand and my sponge bowl's gone, that you're really never alone if you have a relationship with God, let's say, and then the person will open his hand or her hand, and the two balls will be in their hand. And it's kind of, it's an amazing trick. It's one of the ones that I've done all my life, and I would say it's the most bang for the buck. When someone, whether it's a 5-year-old little girl or a 4-year-old male, doesn't matter, when they open their hand and two sponge bowls pop out of their hand, they just, how in the world did you do that? So again, it's used, it's a good mechanism for simplifying any complex material, whether it's engineering or scripture. In a lot of cases, the scripture can be hard to unpack. So the magic really helped out in that way. I mentioned, my wife passing through with suicide, and how I felt shunned, and because people just kind of avoided you if they knew that someone close to you committed suicide. Being alone after having that relationship for 45 years, I mean, I was always used to being alone, but this loneliness after being together for that amount of years was quite unbearable. But thanks to God, I was making progress with my grieving. But then it got worse. I mean, I had to make a choice. If I was to remain a deacon, something I love very much, I had to commit to a life of celibacy, and then essentially to a life alone. That was a rule that, in the Catholic Church, and I knew that going in. I knew about that rule. But the crazy thing about it, it was my wife who was against that rule. And I told her, I said, why are you worried about it? I'm going to die before you. I mean, that's what guys think, right? But she said, I just don't want you to be alone. So as time went on, I was facing the reality of that rule. It was really hard to face. I mean, in the midst of my grieving, here I have to decide whether to stay a deacon and pursue another loving relationship. Now, I wasn't running out to start another relationship, but just having that door shut was a reality that was hard to handle. I always quote Blaise Pascal, and one of my authors that I've always loved reading. He said, when you have a tough choice, choose the path with the heart. But both paths were paths of that had a heart. Both paths were really a loving path, serving God as a deacon, But then, having a relationship is something that's all I ever knew. So it was a tough battle for me. It was a battle that lasted a couple of years, and I write about that in my book. It was a battle that, it was hard to come to a decision.
Mm-hmm. It also says as well, too, that put you in the hospital for open heart surgery. And, that had to be, quite an ordeal as well.
It was. And, here I am. I've never had high blood pressure. I've always worked out, never had high cholesterol. I was always in good shape. And that one morning, I remember waking up and having seemed like indigestion. And so I drove myself to the hospital because it wasn't going away. And they did an EKG, and sure enough, they wanted to do a stress test. And one cardiologist says, well, no, let's do a catheterization where they, check out your heart. And after that procedure, he looked down at me. He says, I have good news and bad news. Good news is you have a strong heart. The bad news is you're 98% blocked, and you need quadruple bypass.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So at that, and of course, my wife was gone. So I, my sister was with me at the time, and my daughter. But it was a tough thing to hear because I was always sensitive in my chest. When I was a wrestler, if someone tried to pin me, I always got out because I couldn't stand anyone to, push me down. So now here I am going through this thought of having my chest, sawed open. So, but it was in that recuperation. It was a 6-week recuperation at home where I couldn't drive until my sternum healed. But it was probably during that time that I experienced really true loneliness, and I made my decision. So oddly enough, it was the decision that it was that loneliness and that recuperation that actually made the decision for me. And I decided that, I don't want to stay alone, and I'm going to, leave the Deacon. And it was a tough decision, but again, that's kind of what led me to that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say too that being a deacon is tough as well too. Than other positions. I don't know if considered, but also that you're having an open heart surgery, and I guess one of the questions that kind of led to that, if you're still serving church and you're married, it's like, what are some of the other positions that you may have considered, maybe in a lesser role?
Right, and that's kind of where I am now. I knowing that I couldn't be a deacon again, but there are many different roles that I can pursue. Right now, with COVID, it makes it a little difficult because a lot of the things I would do, like visit people in the hospital, you really couldn't do now until we get through this virus. But But here I am making this decision, and then, but with that decision came something that I never expected, something worse than loneliness, and that was rejection.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I made my decision. It took 2 years to make it. I prayed on it. It wasn't something I did overnight, but yet the church kind of treated me as if I kind of felt shunned the second time. First time through experiencing suicide and how people reacted to that. But, the church, the priests, not all of them, a lot of the priests and a lot of even some of my deacons that I knew kind of treated me as if my decision was to leave the church. And I never made that decision. I just made the decision, not to be a deacon anymore. So I felt this rejection. And the first experience I had with it was when I made my decision that they wouldn't even allow me to say my goodbyes in church.
Wow.
It was more or less wanted me to disappear.
Uh-huh.
And it really felt like, wow. And even the parishioners were like, they didn't know what happened to me. They thought I had another problem with my heart. Where did Tom go? Where's Deacon Tom? And it was really that's probably one of the beginnings of that feelings of rejection. It kind of felt like a leprosy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what can readers, expect to get out of the book, and what lessons can they learn from the book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life?
Well, here I am going through these things that I mentioned, having everything, good marriage, certainly looking forward to serving as a deacon, looking forward to traveling with my wife after retiring, and all of these things happened. I guess through it, I held on to my faith. And in writing the book, my wife said, my current wife, Dorothy, she said, your book is going to help a lot of people because they're going to relate to the things that happened, the unexpected things. And I didn't think much of it, but when I put together the book, I started getting a lot of letters, and letters from so many people who related to the grieving and the isolation, some people who related to the suicide. So many people have lost people from suicide, and they related to how I described it. I tried to put this book together in a way. It's a true story, but I put a slight bit of fiction because what I'm doing is I'm talking to a reporter in my story, and the reporter's asking me these questions, and then the reporter turns out to be someone very special. So as they read it, they feel a part of it, and some, again, they can relate to making tough decisions. A lot of people felt rejection. I had one guy call me. He got my email, and then he asked me, he wanted to call me, and he called me, and he said that he found out he had liver cancer, and he had just finished reading my book, and he felt like, you went through a lot of things. I can go through this too, and I noticed how you held on to your faith, and it just gave me a little hope. And I actually turned out to be talked to him a few more times, and he's doing really well. But I was stunned when I started getting all those letters, and to be honest with you, that's when I decided to really go forward with marketing the book outside the war market, because your friends and family all say, "Oh, that's a great book," but now I'm getting letters from people who don't even know me, and I feel that someone reading my book now can relate to so many things, and can find glimmers, the way I call it, glimmers of hope and faith and love, despite whatever unexpected things they're going through. And everyone, when you come right down to it, Mike, lives an unexpected life.
Mm-hmm. And that's very, very moving. And I know some people who go through what you've been through, others have been through. It sounds like an amazing book. And where can we find The Deacon An Unexpected Life at?
Well, it's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's on my website. It's thomasfargnoli.com. You can read a little bit more about me and, some other things about me in the book. But for the most part, if you just go out to Amazon and search for the book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life, you'll find it.
And we certainly will do that. We'll be back with author Thomas Fargnoli in just a minute. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, and also brought to you by our official sponsor, international award-winning author Mia Motion Zia of Missing, available on Amazon and ebook. We'll be back with author Thomas Fargnoli, and what's coming up for him next, we'll find out in just 1 minute on The Mike Wagner Show. Stay tuned.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mia Motion Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device, subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're here with author Thomas Fargnoli of The Deacon An Unexpected Life here on The Mike Wagner Show. Very, very inspiring, as he had been a computer systems engineer for 40 years, also worked as a magician, served as a deacon of the Catholic Church, and talked about his amazing book, The Deacon An Unexpected Life. And very, very fascinating story, and we'd love to have back on again soon, Thomas. And just a few more things here. What can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Thomas?
Well, right now, putting a lot of effort into, this book and doing a lot of answering emails and letters that I'm getting. I definitely want to write another book with the same type of theme, not a deacon theme, but the theme of a novel of someone, people that can relate to it, that are going through pain in their life, and how to, find some peace and hope through that pain. Not quite sure exactly the story that's going to unfold from that, but I'm collecting a lot of notes right now, and that's kind of going to be my 2021. I believe I'll get started on that. But that's kind of where I'm going. I enjoyed writing. I've always enjoyed writing. Even when I was an engineer, I would put together material for people to understand it better. So I found it, in a story like mine, where it's kind of like a novel, when there's characters involved, it's just much more interesting than, a particular how-to book, or how to pray, or how to have faith. People always want that, but when they read it in a way that they can relate to it based on the experience of some of the characters. My case for this first book, it was, 100% true, other than my character that I used to tell the story to, who turned out to be very special. I can't give that away. But, Confucius he said that, it's better to save one life than to build a 7-story pagoda. And, I've always thought of, what can I do with my life? What grandiose things can I accomplish? But, hey, if I can inspire somebody, if I can give someone a little peace or hope, then that's a good goal.
And that's very true as well, too. It sounds like you're off to a great start. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Well, know your audience. You have to, before you write down, you have to try to understand your audience. And that's true in almost all aspects of presenting. I know in engineering, if I was presenting to system engineers, I would have one set of material. If I was presenting to managers, I would have a different set based on their, managers really want to know what's in it for me. I'm going to invest all this money. What am I going to get out of it? Whereas an engineer is more of a how-to. So I'd say know your audience. And I would also say take some time and pray, and include prayer before you write. When we think about it, depending on what we want to write, it's always good to pray about things. I, met my current wife, Dorothy, through all of this stuff.
Wow.
She lost her spouse suddenly and tragically as well. We met in our 60s on eHarmony of all places. And we were convinced that God brought us together. And we were also convinced that our late spouses brought us together, too. You can believe that. So, I would say we all suffer from time to time now with this COVID, even more than ever. So we have to know that we're loved. We have to know we're loved more than we can ever understand.
And much more important than ever as well, too. Once again, with author Thomas Fargnoli of The Deacon An Unexpected Life on the Mike Wagner Show. Thomas, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely inspirational. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And maybe do some magic tricks for us on Zoom sometime. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Yeah, basically, again, my website is Thomas Fargnoli, FARGNOLI.com. You can go out there. You can find out a little bit more about me. You can certainly order the book. You can go right to Amazon and order the book. By the way, all proceeds of this book go to suicide awareness, so I don't make any money off of this book. I'm pretty passionate about spreading the word. So all proceeds will go to suicide awareness. And that's pretty much my life at this point in time. I really appreciate you having me on. And, I'll put some magic together. Maybe we can do a Zoom meeting with some magic.
Oh, definitely will. And looking forward to having you again soon, Thomas. You've been absolutely amazing. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. And love to have you back. And alakadabra, alakazam, and let's make it happen in 2021.
Hey, pick a number from 1 to 10.
Okay. 7.
That's right. You got it.
Oh!
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.